Hey y'all, I always forget to hit the unmute button. But hey y'all, it is Uniquely Destiny. We are going to be covering some topics. But if you're new here, hola, bonjour, como estás? I hope you are muy bien. Um, if you're new to the channel, again, like, comment, subscribe. If you are, a regular here, hey y'all, replay gang, hey. Be sure to share this live, share this live, share this live. I want to start off by saying I appreciate all of y'all for watching my video last night. What this makes my third video or fourth? Two, three. This makes my third video that I've done consistently back to back. So I really appreciate you all for just watching, tuning in, hitting that replay button, hitting that like button. We are going to review the things of the things tonight. Okay, so on the docket tonight we have Wendy and Eddie from Real Housewives of Potomac. We have an update about their case. We have Kandi and Todd and their divorce, y'all. Whew, Kandi said she finna take the footage that has been on Bravo from their wedding and all of that to the courthouse. So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about your current administration, talking about how income taxes could possibly go away, which I'm all for. We're gonna talk about Ashley being jealous of Stacey, allegedly, and how she just hate on her, allegedly. But it ain't even alleged because it's evident in the show, but we have to say alleged for the purposes of the video. And then we are going to talk about 50 Cent's new documentary about Diddy just a little bit because I feel like I want to talk about this separately in its entirety of the 4 parts that I watched today and that dropped today. So without further ado, we're going to read the copyright disclaimer. So Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976 is for fair use, allows the use of copyrighted materials for specific purposes like criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. So what are we doing? Researching, okay? You can read the rest of the Copyright Act in the chat. I put that there for you all to view, okay? Now, today I'm going to be reading from Yahoo about an update on Wendy and Eddie's case. And I've been like dropping material back to back all day. So I'm kind of just now, catching up to everything. But I did see that they will no longer be tried separately. So at first we saw that, it will. First, let's go back. If you're not familiar with Wendy and Eddie, they are from the Real Housewives of Potomac. And what was it last month that they went that we found out that, or a couple months ago that we found out that they had, some fraud charges thrown on them, So we're going to read what Yahoo said about that update since they're no longer going to be tried separately. So it says, it's been a busy morning in the Carroll County Circuit Court in Maryland. It says the Real Housewives stars of Potomac, Wendy Osefo and Eddie Osefo, appeared in front of a judge. And it looks like they've changed their mind about tackling the charges separately. I wonder what prompted that, because initially they were saying they wanted to do it separately, and that had me questioning things like are y'all going to be saying different things? Are y'all going to be like, why would you want it separate? But hey, I guess they slept on it and came back because it said, according to a boots on the ground reporter, the pair asked the judge to move forward as co-defendants, y'all. It says Wendy and Eddie would no longer be tried separately in their fraud case. Shout out to Yahoo for the report. It says in October, the Real Housewives of Potomac stars were arrested for over a dozen fraud charges, y'all. A dozen. Each, not one person, not together. This is each, okay? Prosecutors accused them of staging a burglary at their house and then making multiple false insurance claims for a long list of luxury items. Said last month, Wendy filed paperwork to be tried separately from Eddie. She also asked for the charges to be tossed out because of an illegal arrest. Illegal arrest. I got to do my sound effects, child. Illegal arrest. Illegal. Eddie submitted a similar request, y'all, through his legal team, and it is all raised eyebrows among the Real Housewives of Potomac fans. Definitely had my eyebrows and my little edges raised. Okay. um, that ain't funny. But that brings us to their court hearing on because I'm growing my edges back, so that really ain't funny. So don't laugh, y'all. That brings us to their court hearing on Tuesday, December 2nd, y'all. It says the What Else Is Going On podcast attended. And according to their report on X, said that Wendy and Eddie asked to be tried as co-defendants, a change in the course from what they originally requested. And it looks like the judge had then granted the request, y'all. So this case will move on with the husband and wife duo as co-defendants, y'all. So they do back in court on December 19th. And until then, Wendy is staying positive. Y'all, you know she went to BravoCon last month and said that she addressed the charges and reiterated that they're just allegations. What did you do? Since it's alleged, she promised that that she and Eddie will continue to push forward. This is Wendy's words. Wendy said, "I am just so grateful for the support I've gotten from my cast members as well as our production team as well as Bravo. I'm overwhelmed by the love, so thank you so much," she told the crowd, y'all. Well, I guess that's just the update. So what we can take from this is that they do back in court on December 19th, which is what, 2 weeks from now, and we will know in the update. I definitely will be watching this closely. I'm looking at my calendar up here, y'all. I'll be watching this closely to let y'all know what's going on here. And so I did have a few questions about this because it's the illegal arrest for me. And now, originally, when this first came out, the report said that they definitely staged a burglary because they did an investigation and it wasn't no track marks going outside and up out the window and up to the roof. Said that if you come out, the police officer said they didn't recreate the scene and said that if you come back out the house, it should be track marks coming back in. So I was just a little confused at that because I'm like, well. Is that something that that will happen? Is that a part of, could that happen or could it not happen? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had on I ain't even gonna say that, but I hope that everything works out for the OCFOs because this is a serious case and y'all ain't looking at 12 charges alone. Like I said, it ain't just one of them being charged, it's both of them, over a dozen and a dozen charges equally, you know what I'm saying, each other. So 24 charges and more, like that's too much. If that's the case and it comes out that they are guilty, I'm definitely going to say a prayer for them, because I'm saying a prayer for them now, but I'm definitely going to say a prayer for them because I don't know how long their sentence is going to be with all them charges. I hope they just get, tossed out. Maybe they get a little probation. They learn, from their lesson, and all of that. But again, it is money involved. It is insurance fraud. And we know how people give it up for insurance fraud, how they give it up. And the government, how they give it up, just saying. So y'all make sure y'all keep Eddie and Wendy in y'all prayers. She look good right here though. Look at them in her pink and her fur. And that's one thing I can say about Wendy. She's always gonna look good no matter what she's going through. She's gonna dress the part, she's gonna be positive. I appreciate that. I don't like grouchy people. I don't like, people being in a slump about any and everything. It's just, she's trying to stay positive about it all. And, hey, I'm glad that the judge granted her, and Eddie to be tried together. And one thing I will say is maybe they can lean on each other in these times while they are, excuse me, in the courtroom and try together as opposed from separately, because I can only imagine if they were tried separately, I'm not saying that, they might get tripped up, on the stand, but you do it together, you can kind of, brace yourself for what's to come when you get on the stand. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. We're sending them, positive energy, good love, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. So y'all, our next topic, we gonna talk about I think I'm gonna save Kandi and Todd for the last thing. But yeah, I want to get into this Ashley and Stacey Darby of it all, y'all, because I'm really sick and tired of Ashley. Like, she is really annoying at this point. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, y'all. Let me stop this screen, and then let me show y'all the reports. So earlier today, I was cause this is TMI, but y'all, Peacock is too much. It's too much. You said Peacock. Yeah, I don't even know why Peacock took away their $19.99 deal for 1 year, y'all. They wrong for that, child. Wrong for that. Now you got to go through Walmart to get it for free. But anywho, I've been seeing clips of Ashley meeting with Stacey from Real Housewives of Potomac, and Ashley, y'all already know Ashley does not have a storyline. She don't have much going on. The GNA is not GNAing. It's just dull, null, and void. You know what I'm saying? And that's my opinion. Copyright. All right. And Ashley really hasn't had a storyline since Michael, her ex, has been on the show. And she didn't want to talk about Michael's alleged inappropriations with the producer on the show. Allegedly. She didn't want to talk about that. See what gets me with her and Giselle, they don't want to talk about their life. They want to talk about what everybody else got going on, who messing with who don't got a bag, who do got a bag. Child, y'all need to be focused on GNA. Y'all don't know if it's gonna be health and beauty, gymnastics. Y'all don't know what it's gonna be. That's what y'all should be focused on. Focus on y'all children. How about that? Focus on that. How about that? Let's talk about it. Talk about that. But we hear all of the extra. Now, when we get into the Stacey and Ashley of it all, I really do feel like, in my opinion, copyright again, I feel like Ashley is very much so jealous of Stacey. She's bothered. Stacey, and I'm gonna break it down because Ashley did have her multi-millionaire. She met this old man, had a baby by him, thought, hooked him in, had 2 kids by him, you know what I'm saying? And they're supposed to be happily ever after. Whereas we have Stacey, no matter how y'all feel about Stacey is giving you what Stacey gonna give you. Either you take it or you leave it. If you don't want to take it, then leave it. Ashley, just leave it. But this Timo, allegedly, he is a billionaire. That's what the streets say. He's a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? And Stacey still got him hooked. Whether they married or they divorced, Stacey still got that man hooked around her finger. And as you can see on these episodes of Real Housewives of Potomac, he don't want to be bothered with all of the extra. And honestly, I don't see nothing wrong with it. I see a lot of commentary around, well, Timo is acting like he don't want to be around the girls. He acting like he too good. He is. Everybody's significant other does not want to be around the mess. I have one that does not want to be around the mess. She would prefer, to just let's go home and we do something together and not involve people if it's gonna be drama. You know what I'm saying? And my thing with Ashley is Ashley has, I don't know what's missing and what's not connecting there, but Ashley has a short brain stem in there somewhere that does not connect to say that some of these folks ain't your friend. You are just relevant to the show because you keep up the mess and they know that you're going to do for them what they're not going to do on a bad day. Okay. Period, point blank. I'm just saying, if y'all agree, definitely put the comments in the chat. Replay gang, let me know how you feel. But I brought this up because I saw Stacey, on Real Housewives of Potomac. There's been this banter between everybody about Stacey life. Who Stacey messing with? Is she messing with Chris Samuels, Monique ex? Monique Samuels ex, because Monique Samuels is back. But she actually just keep pounding this Chris Samuel thing. So I saw on a clip where they're at a table and Ashley and is Ashley it's Monique and it's Stacey. And Ashley saying, I mean, and Stacey's again, which Stacey girl, please stop explaining yourself to these folks. They don't pay your bills. They not putting nothing positive in your ear. They not even trying to help you with Shayo. If they helping you with any of those things or doing any of those things, then you can explain yourself. But stop explaining yourself to these folks. These folks don't deserve no explanation. Certainly not no Ashley. Ashley does not deserve nothing. Half of the stuff that she's getting right now, it's fueling her fire, honey. It's fueling her fire, and you need to stop. Stacey, you're giving her what she wants, and please know that that's not what you need to be doing. But anyway, so Stacey, Monique, Ashley, they are all at the table. Stacey saying, because on the previous episode of Housewives, they calling Chris Samuels. Chris, did you tell Stacey? Did Stacey call you and tell you about Monique saying yada 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 yada? And in that conversation in prior week's episode, Chris says, I don't even know what y'all talking about. And we know that, Cookie is a part of this conversation, which Cookie is a, mutual, she was a mutual friend of Chris and Monique, but Monique don't deal with Cookie no more. So, we got this going on. So in this clip, in this sneak peek, we see Ashley, Stacey saying, explaining herself again to Monique, saying, and Chris was reaching out to me. He reached out and he said, uh, I don't even know what he said verbatim, but he answered her questions and Stacey not replying. Stacey not replying. So Monique like, so he was hitting you up. He was chasing you. And Stacey was like, well, he was just asking me questions and all of that. And then Bravo pans to Big Head, aka Ashley. Yeah, Ashley's she is irrelevant. She is not even a housewife. Girl, you are divorced. Go on. Go on. Go on. Go on, girl. Anyway, so it pans to Ashley saying, girl, now y'all know how the phone work. Y'all know how text messages work. Those text messages could have been deleted. Yada yada yada. Now, little girl. Because that's what you act like, a very immature high school wanna be 18 again, popping your everywhere across the screen. You don't know if it's gonna be in a gay club, a straight club, a pan club. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? But here you are, all up in this woman business, talking about a deleted message. That's not okay, Ashley. When Chris has come on the phone and said, I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't been talking to Stacey. Stacey pulls up. How much more proof do you need if somebody's showing you that they ain't been responding to somebody and they can go back and then call that somebody and that somebody verifies that they ain't been talking to this person? How much more proof do you need? Now, what we need proof of is Michael and that alleged producer that he touched. That's what we need. If you want to talk about something, let's talk about that. Allegedly. But see, you're not going to talk about that, are you, Ashley? No, you're not. And it ain't just this one time that Ashley has done this. She continuously says, Stacey's story just doesn't add up. It just doesn't. Why are you so invested in Stacey's breath? You invested in her fashions. You invested in who she land with. Stacey ain't looking for. She ain't checking for you. Stacey got her a billionaire. If she want to deal with him on Monday and don't want to deal with him on Friday, that's her business. She can do that. Literally, we see that she can do that. Now, you can't. We know that you can't because Michael ain't going for that. So what I suggest you do, Ashley, my darling, is say a prayer for yourself. And instead of being so embedded into Stacey's life and being a pestilential person, okay, and not having the a paucity. You lack the paucity of information. You have very scarce information. You know what I'm saying? And the information that you do have, you don't take it as proof. You take it as continuously throwing darts when you keep missing the bullseye. You miss every time. Stacey's just ducking and dodging, proving you wrong. She got y'all bothered. You are Stacey's whole storyline. I'm hoping for you next season. You come back and talk about everything that we want to know about. Talk about your family. Talk about your kids. Talk about GNA, because we still don't know what's happening with GNA. We do not see y'all promoting GNA. We only see GNA on the screen. We don't even see GNA being talked about in the streets of Baltimore. We do not. I don't be seeing it on my timeline, do y'all? Ain't nobody promoting GNA, girl. You better go over there and worry about GNA. You got a whole business. And if you wanted to succeed, that's where you need to be putting your Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, okay? Girl, get up out of here. Oh, she's annoying. I had to talk about that because I'm just like, Stacey got these girls in a frenzy. Oh, in a frenzy, and I am here for it. Keep confusing them, Stacey. Keep stepping on their necks. Keep blowing your breath in their face, okay? Make sure you have a mint in it, according to them, but allegedly. But keep doing your thing, Stacey, because you ain't doing nothing wrong. You are definitely serving them what they dish out. And what happens is, too many times on this show, is people come for people and they think that they are just supposed to just take it. No, you can't come for me for so long and I'm going to burst. And then don't play victim because you didn't poke me. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Like, period, point blank. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about with this Ashley, whatever of it all. Anywho, we're gonna keep going. Yeah, we're gonna move into y'all current administrator talking about tariff revenue could cover tax refunds. Y'all been seeing it. If you have not, we're gonna read the post here. All right, y'all, I'm unmuted now. So we're gonna read the this is coming straight from, who is this from, y'all? US. Yeah, I did not want to show that face. PBS News. So y'all, the current administrator, y'all, says that claims that the tariff revenue will cover, tax refunds and eventually eliminate income taxes. When I saw this, I was like, is that true? But let me do some more reading and digging. So we're gonna read this, y'all. This was posted today, y'all. Said that current administration said that his cabinet meeting that next year he'll be giving back refunds out of tariffs because they've taken in literally trillions of dollars. Well, why is the U.S. still in trillions of dollars of debt? Some stuff I just be like, huh? How? If you're taking it in, we know it just don't make sense. How is the U.S. still in debt? Please make it make sense. Okay. Anywho, it says it's not clear how that will work, or if the current administration could afford to do so without worsening the national debt, which he claims his tariffs will also cut. So again, makes no sense. But it says the Bipartisan Policy Center, y'all, estimates that so far this year, the U.S. government has collected, $258.1 billion in tariffs. Why is there still homelessness? Why are housing mortgages going up instead of coming down? Why are HBCUs not having funding? Let's talk about it. Y'all got all these trillions and billions of dollars. Why is education? Why is nursing degrees, education? Why are they not essential anymore? You have all this money. Why? But y'all gonna keep on. It said the revenue from taxes on imports is meaningfully higher than $90 billion collected at this point last year. But it's not trillions, and it's not clear how the current administration could refund the taxes he imposed unilaterally by declaring an economic emergency. So yeah, how are you going to do that without declaring a it just don't make sense. So don't get your hopes up, but I did want to bring this to the forefront just in case you all see a little more in your refund. Here it is. We don't know how it's going to work, but they said that we was going to get his first time in the thing. They said what we get what's the name of them checks? What's the name of them checks we got? What's the name of them checks? Y'all know what checks we had and got y'all, and it did come to fruition. So I don't know. They may. I don't. Let's keep reading. The annual budget shortfall from the last fiscal year was $1.8 trillion, significantly higher than the current administration's tariff revenue. It says still, current administration said he's banking on tariffs, supplanting, yeah, supplanting income taxes, so much so that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay. Well, can that happen today? And can we get a refund for the past however long we've been paying? I mean, since y'all bringing in $258.1 billion in tariffs, why y'all ain't been helping the American people? But you know what gets me with this country is they'll rather help other people than to help us first. Why we gotta be last? We slave every day over here, every day. But you'll rather go render aid to people who don't even care about us. Hold our people in hostage. It makes no sense. However, this is what they saying. So you heard it here first, okay? Oh, teach their own. I'll take this off the screen now. That's all I want to talk about right there. So we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna get into the candy birds of it all, y'all, because I kind of figured this was gonna come up. And shout out to Reality T for giving us this update, y'all. Cause I know that y'all saw my last video about Kandi and Todd's divorce, and Kandi stating that, hold on, y'all. Let me hold on. And Kandi stating that let me see. Okay, there we go, right there. I like that better. Yeah, because I'm sure like what's okay, yeah. I'm gonna just go back like this. So Kandi and Todd is unfortunately getting a divorce right now. And things have been a little messy. We know that Kandi filed about around November 26th, and Kandi was asking for everything to be split equitably, equality over quantity. Okay, that is what Kandi was asking for. So I'm going to put this up on the screen because shout out to Reality T for following this and letting us know that Kandi gonna fight it, y'all. Kandi gonna fight Todd over the prenup that he just put out a couple days ago. Because y'all know that Todd is asking for primary custody and final decision making and all the good stuff. And Kandi said, "Whoa, wait a minute." Also, Todd alleged that he was forced to sign the prenup only hours before they got married. And a lot of commentators and bloggers and news medias and outlets have been saying the same thing that over and over. Todd, there is evidence of you stating that you are not being forced. Had you said pause the tape, bravo, or something like that, we wouldn't be here. You know what I'm saying? But you said on national TV in front of millions, billions of people that you were not forced to sign this. And so shout out to again Reality T. Y'all, we're gonna read this in its entirety too. So it says Kandi Burrs fights ex Todd Tucker over prenup. It says using Real Housewives of Atlanta clips as evidence. Now Todd. Now I do feel for Todd, I feel for him in the aspect of, Todd's, he has his daughter. I'm pretty sure he has extended family members, but y'all know Todd lost his mom. And so he doesn't have that motherly or maternal support, So Ty has been, taking this like a little bit hard because, he's kind of feeling like, I don't have my support system, that being his mom, that be, in my corner while I'm going through this. I'm fighting this by, I'm on this journey by myself, not, again, per se, because I'm pretty sure he has family members or whatever, and he has his daughters, he has his son, but again, I feel for Todd in the aspect. However, Todd, that's why I say you should have slept on it and amended this, because it says, years after meeting on the set of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Kandi Burruss is using moments from the show in her divorce with Todd Tucker, y'all. It says it's the latest in the legal battle that is quickly heating up. It says Kandi is trying to shut down Todd's accusations that he signed a prenup under pressure. He sure did say that, Kandi. He said it. He said that. Said the divorce could get messy. Look at them here. They looked happy, when Eva was on there with her husband and everything. They looked so happy right there, This is kind of like in their earlier years of them being married, honeymoon stage. So I really appreciate, them seeing being so happy. But it says after Kandi filed for a divorce last month, Ty hit back with a counterclaim asking for primary custody of their children, y'all. Additionally, he cast doubt on the validity of their prenup. You see this here, right? He cast doubt on the validity of their prenup, y'all. So he claimed that Kandi's lawyers had him sign it without his legal team present, and he added a list of demands should a judge find their prenup unenforceable. Go back to my previous video or go watch Michelle A.T. Brown video where she has the dockets. You can go watch Millie Chun TV. You can go watch whoever TV that has all of the dockets. Just go. So it says, according to court documents reviewed by U.S. Weekly, Kandi has hit back with an amended divorce petition. See, Ty, this is what you should have did. You should have slept on it, amended it immediately, after it came out. Maybe you should have moved for it to be sealed too, because that's what Kandi's doing. But, it says her lawyers disputed Todd's claim that the prenup wasn't valid, y'all. Said their prenup drama happened on the Real Housewives of Atlanta spinoff of Kandi's wedding. So Kandi's lawyer is basically telling the judge, roll back the tapes. And again, Ty had said, cut the tape, Bravo. I don't want to answer that right now. That would have been cool. But Ty went on record, national TV, that is, again, saying that. Now, I'm not saying that he wasn't under duress, but it didn't give that. I mean, even though his answer was a little shaky, but you still answered no. You said no. You would have been better saying, I plead the fifth. Or I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but or pause. Just pause. I don't know, but something other than no. Because now Kandi lawyers can use all of this evidence. And I'm pretty sure they are. They are. So it says the parties' journey to executing an enforceable prenuptial agreement was filmed and broadcast on Bravo Television Network with the knowledge and consent of both Kandi and Todd for their 5-part reality television wedding documentary entitled Kandi's Wedding that premiered on June 1st, 2014. Kandi's lawyer said in the filing, although Todd claimed in his divorce papers that the prenup signing happened without his lawyers present, Kandi's lawyer called out a specific moment from the Real Housewives of Atlanta spinoff. He pointed out that Todd audibly announced that he was good to sign the prenup after talking to his lawyers, both on and off camera. Both on and off camera. A judge has yet to rule, though, y'all, on any of this. But if any of the clips end up in the downfall of Todd's divorce claims, it will be an ironic ending to a marriage that blossomed because of Bravo. Well, shout out to, Justin Smith, y'all. So yeah, there you have it. So looks like Kandi is gonna be using those clips, y'all, in the divorce. And here's what I would say. I really hope that both of them can move, and I said this in my last video, work it out behind the scenes and then put out the information. I get that it's a divorce, and everything is going to be, open and out in the public. But if you all are choosing to, you know, and both of them are saying that we wanted to be in the best interest of each other. We wanted to be, but look how it's coming out. It is messy. It is coming across as very much so messy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not blaming one party or the other. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be very much so bipartial in all of this and just say that I hope it works out for the both of them. I hope that Kandi can get this sealed, because sometimes you just don't want it all out there. Now, even though you are a public figure, honey, and you already out there, we already see it now. But I hope that a win is a win, and maybe you can get it sealed, and we don't have to talk about this no much longer. You know what I'm saying? In the aspect of us knowing the details of everything that y'all going through, but I am sending well wishes to the both of them, because they have four beautiful children. They got Riley. They got Todd's other daughter. I cannot remember her name. Kayla. I think that's her name. I can't remember her name. Then they have Ace, and then they have Blaze. Beautiful children. You know what I'm saying? And when the family fights, it's not good for anyone. So I'm hoping that the family can get it together. No more fighting. They can all get along, and it goes from there. You know what I'm saying? It just goes from there. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping for the best. All right. Y'all say some prayers for them too, okay? All right. Last but not least, y'all. I said I'm gonna say this juicy one. This is about the Diddy and 50 Cent of it all. Now, y'all know 50 Cent is a troll. He is a troll. But that man is smart in how he troll y'all. He said, if I'm going to troll you, then I'm going to get paid for it. Oh, I shouldn't be laughing. Oh, I shouldn't be. But hey, it is what it is. So, y'all know that, Diddy, Puff Daddy, however y'all want to call it, Love, whatever you call him, Diddy. Y'all know Diddy gone to the slammer. He gone to the slammer for whamming on Cassie and solicitation to prostitution and stuff like that. And so he got a 50-month sentence, and we saw a lot of people come out that has worked with Diddy, from Arbery, from Babs, from Mark Curry, from a lot of people. Clark, what's her name? Catherine Clark. What's her name, y'all? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Diddy's manager at the time, or something like that. She was. But y'all, a lot of people was in this documentary. I suggest y'all go watch it. Y'all, it's called The Reckoning on Netflix. If you ain't watched it, I say go watch it, y'all. It is good. When I say good, it's good. It breaks down in more precise detail of how and what happened to these people, as opposed to, the TMZ of it all, where, they can only broadcast so much, people can only say so much. But no, in the Netflix documentary, 50 Cent lays it out in 4 parts, okay? 4 parts. And, shout out to BBC for talking about this, because they said, lawyers for Sean Diddy Combs have hit out, y'all, at the new Netflix documentary produced by 50 Cent, which they say is a shameful hit piece that relied on stolen footage, y'all. So within the 4-point document titled Sean Combs The Reckoning, which was released on Tuesday today, and is billed as a staggering examination of the hip-hop mogul who was convicted on prostitution-related charges earlier this year, y'all, says that it included what Netflix described of explosive footage, y'all, of Combs filmed in the days before his arrest. 6 days, that be exact. So whoever Diddy had hired to follow him in those days, then shared the footage with 50 Cent. And y'all already know, there has been a long-standing underlying beef between 50 Cent and Diddy. I personally don't know how far it goes back. I'm only aware of the past 10 years of 50 trolling this man, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. But y'all, it 50 then took it to the next level. He said, since you want to be a clown, I'm going to make a documentary of you, clown. Child, I don't know. But anyway, allegedly. But well, it ain't no alleged because he didn't put out the footage now, y'all. You know, but anyway, y'all, so it includes what Netflix describes as an explosive footage of Combs filmed in the days before his arrest, including a phone conversation with his lawyers. The director said she obtained the footage legally. You hear that? The director said that she actually obtained the footage legally, but Combs' spokesperson said it was fundamentally unfair and illegal to use his private footage. Now, my whole thing is, now, while I know you feel some type of way about this because it's out of your control, Diddy, you know, you how you like to control things allegedly, you know, it's kind of fair use, because if it was in the possession of someone else, it is their footage. Yeah, you're on it, but it's their footage. And you all have that underlining understanding that, you know, this is your footage, you're going to use your footage to document me, and you know, I'm it's kind of like a service, so they're using you're using their service, right? So if they did want to put something together, you know, you know, they want to share with people, you know, it's tricky there, you know. I don't know. But anyway, y'all, personal vendetta, y'all. It says he being Diddy said that it was staggering that Netflix had given creative control to 50 Cent, y'all, who he described as a longtime adversary with a personal vendetta. Again, there's that vendetta. I don't know what the vendetta is. Obviously, 50 feels every type of way about how maybe Diddy has treated people, you know. I don't know. Maybe it was something when 50 was coming out. Maybe Diddy didn't support. I don't know, y'all. I'm not gonna even put nothing out there, you know. But I don't know. But y'all go do y'all research, okay? So it says Netflix is plainly desperate to sensationalize every minute of Mr. Combs' life without regard for truth in order to capitalize on a never-ending media frenzy, the statement said. Also said if Netflix cared about the truth or about Mr. Combs' legal team, it would not be ripping private footage out of the context, including conversations with his lawyers that were never intended for public viewing. No rights in their material were ever transferred to Netflix or any third party. Now, I'm going to pause here because in every episode in the 4-part episode that 50 has put out, he details who all he reached out to, and he said that, you know, in one of the statements on the screen, it pops up, it says they reached out to this man's legal team and they didn't get back to him. They wouldn't respond to him. Reached out to his mama, reached out to his legal team, reached out to, you know, people that was affiliated. They didn't respond, you know. So they gave you a fair chance. At this point, I'm going to refer back to our copyright disclaimer we got right here. If 50 is using this as research for getting people's stories, right? News reporting of information that's already out there, then honestly, is it illegal? I don't think so. I wouldn't think so, but hey, you know, to each their own. So it says, y'all, the statement added for Netflix to give his life story to someone who has publicly attacked him. Oh, the nerve! Attacked him for decades feels like an unnecessary and deeply personal affront, y'all. At minimum, he expected fairness from people he respected. My thing is, Diddy, did you respect everybody in the documentary? No, you still owe people to this day, allegedly. It's a lot of people in that documentary that is coming to the forefront talking about their experience, how they're scared for their lives. You humiliating them on national TV. You putting them up on big screens, showing actual acts happening to them without them being fully conscious. Allegedly, allegedly, allegedly. So the nerve of you to say that you are being attacked again. If you all didn't have the underlying uh understanding of whomever shared this footage, that this is for your use and your use only, it's fair game. It's their footage. If I'm recording something for someone, right, putting it together, it's my footage. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I wouldn't do nothing like paint nobody in a bad light, but facts are facts. And this is stuff that has been out. These are facts that were brought to the forefront in court. There are court documents of everything that everybody has talked about in this document. I don't see nothing that 50 Cent did wrong other than, maybe the trolling part, and he didn't even do that in the documentary. He literally put facts on facts on facts. And again, he reached out to teams, he did his research, reached out to lawyers. Nobody said anything. So to say that this is an attack, no. I think that your feelings are just a little hurt, and you don't want no more than that's already came out to come out. Too late for that. More and more is going to come out. And to know that it's 77 pending civil lawsuits still, that's crazy. That's crazy, Yeah, we're gonna keep reading. So, y'all, the documentary opens with footage of Combs in a hotel room 6 days before his arrest in September 2024, talking on the phone to his attorney, Mark, and telling him he wants to fight for my life. That's what Diddy told Mark. He said he gonna fight for his life, y'all. He was pushing Mark to have more upfront media strategy to protest his innocence. Combs told him, we have to find something that'll work for us. It has to be something that has somebody that has dealt with in the dirtiest of dirty business of the media and propaganda. Which I didn't understand them. My thing is, if you ain't did that, why do you need somebody of the dirtiest of business? That made no sense. They kind of gave guilty by association, but I don't know. I don't know. At another point, viewers see Combs talking to his son Justin, which we'll touch on in a minute, on the phone 5 days before his arrest. He's saying, God told me to do something, but other people need to do something because this is ridiculous. He said in the clip. And Combs spokesperson said the documentary contained footage that was never authorized for release. As Netflix and CEO Ted Sarandos know, Mr. Combs has been amassing footage since he was 19 to tell his own story in his own way. It is fundamentally unfair and illegal for Netflix to misappropriate that work. Netflix has not responded to a request for a response, but appointed U.S. media to comments it has published from the documentary's director, Alexandria Stapleton. Says, it came to us. We obtained the footage legally and have the necessary rights. She said, we moved heaven and earth to keep the filmmakers' identity confidential. Well, my thing is, honestly, if this man hired somebody, he know who he hired to follow him around in those 6 days. So could you confidentially hide his identity? I don't know. But the documentary is executive produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, whose long-running feud with Combs stretches back 2 decades, y'all. 2 decades. Jackson told ABC News Good Morning America on Monday, if I didn't say anything, you would interpret it as that hip-hop is fine with his behaviors. There's no one else being vocal. The documentary covers Combs' career as one of the most powerful men in hip-hop and includes allegations that he was involved in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur in 1996. Now, in this document, they definitely get to the minutia of the Tupac and the Biggie of it all. They do. The Tupac and the Biggie of it all. And my personal opinion is I see what everybody else is talking about when they say he definitely could have been involved. I can see that. And even his own friend who he did dirty and still has not paid this man 25%. His 25% of the company even came out and said that in his mature mind that he does feel allegedly that Diddy had something to do with it too. So, hey, that's what it say, y'all. That's what he said. And it says it features tapes of a police interview in which former gang member Keefe D claims that Combs offered him $1 million, y'all, for a hit on Shakur. Mr. Davis is set to stand trial for Shakur's murder in 2026. He now says his proffer agreement with police, under which he agreed to tell them what he knew, but it couldn't be used against him in court, was given under duress, according to Netflix. The program also includes Kirk Burrows, who co-founded Bad. Yeah, that's who it was, Kirk Burrows. Kirk Burrows said that Diddy offered him 25% of Bad Boy entity, and he's never been paid for it, y'all. So the program also includes Kirk Burrows, who co-founded Bad Boy Entertainment, which Combs claiming that he believes Combs had a lot to do with the death of Tupac. The documentary also, Combs has always denied any involvement in Shakur's death, and the documentary also features further claims of violence and threats, many of which have previously been made public in dozens of lawsuits, including alleged, ABUSE against former girlfriend Cassie, which ended in a settlement. Y'all know Cassie got paid, over $30 million, I think, in a settlement or something last year. Yeah, I think it was over $30 million. So Combs has previously denied the complaints, calling them sickening and full of lies. And in a media statement earlier this year, his lawyer says anyone can file a lawsuit, adding, no matter how many lawsuits are filed, it won't change the fact that Mr. Combs has never actually AS or S trafficked anyone, man or woman, adult or minor. The documentary also includes interviews with 2 jurors from Combs' trial in July. He was convicted of 2 charges of transportation to engage in that, but found not guilty of the most serious charges: racketeering, conspiracy, and ex-African, and of 2 ex-girlfriends. He is now serving a 50-month prison sentence and said he will appeal. So, y'all, it's a lot going on. Now, what I would say about this interview is, about this documentary, if you have not watched it, I would suggest you to go and watch it. Okay. What you thought you knew, you might not have known, and you might find out some more information. We actually get to hear Keefe D's interrogation, admission of how the night went down that Tupac died. And it's sad, y'all. It's sad. This man is laughing in the interview. Yeah, we're standing over there. Allegedly, this is Keefe D. Yeah, we y'all pull up talking about the police. Yeah, y'all pull up and we in the hotel. We and we laughing. Nothing's funny about taking someone's life. And you know what? You can only do wrong for so long before it hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is above God. Nobody is above reproach. You are not and will never be above the law. Now, they might not hit him with all the charges that he should have been hit with, but they hit him where it hurt. They hit them pockets. Shashing. And it came out that he was a little clever, y'all. Said that he put most of his finances in businesses in his mama name. But my thing is, when people do that, y'all, they can go after your family too. They can go after your family too. They can tell you, they can say, we can't, since we can't hit your money, we're gonna hit their money. Since we can't get you, we're gonna get them. They can say that. And that's exactly what they did. Allegedly. Allegedly, honey. We even get more specifics on what happened the night allegedly Justin pow someone in the bathroom. We get to see footage and everything. Yeah, we get to see all of it. Allegedly, y'all. Allegedly. I have to say allegedly. And it's just like this. It's like with I can't remember if it was Kirk that said this or not, but someone in the footage was like, he didn't even realize he is, creating. He's creating and making things feel okay to his sons, indulging in these acts together with them, indulging in these powings, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? That's not okay. You want to set an example for your kids. You don't want them looking up to you or fearing you, even though they might not never say it. But that's something that's gonna always stick with his son. Oh, me and my dad, you know, he might not come out and say it outright, but it's always gonna be embedded in his head. Man, I ain't gonna never forget that night me and my dad pop out, allegedly, it went down in the bathroom. I just say it like that. He never gonna forget that. And the fact that you are his father and you feel that it's okay to create spaces where it's okay for him to act and do these things, it's not. It's not. It's not okay. It's not. I don't agree with it. But to each their own. Last thing I'm gonna say about this documentary before we get out of here is, I don't feel that this is over. Honestly, I don't feel that this is over. With all of the people that was just in that doggone documentary, y'all. 50 did his thing. He called the people to the front line. Come tell your story, honey. And they sure did. They showed up and showed out. Being a victim of SA myself at 5 years old by an ex-step family member, I wasn't fought for like that, So I respect people coming out and speaking up, telling their truth and getting some justice, But to give this man only, y'all, how many? To give this man only 4.4 months and 4 years and 1 month? What? Huh? What? No, y'all. I had to do the research, y'all. Cause wait, that is not okay, y'all. 50 months, 50 months, 50 months. And then what gets me is some of y'all saying, "Oh, they just trying to bring a black man down. They just trying to bring a black man did the crime. He did the crime. You have to do the time. I do not play about that SA stuff. Not at all. Then y'all can have footage in y'all face and y'all say it still don't happen. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't care if you're black, white, blue, purple. You SA somebody, you beat on them. You do the time. You do the time. You do it. Do it. You was big. You was the big bad wolf. Blowing your hot breath and blowing your power on these people, you ain't above the law. You ain't. So I encourage y'all to go watch that documentary. Go watch the 50s documentary. It's called The Reckoning. Sean Combs, The Reckoning. I'm promoting this video because y'all need to watch it. Y'all need to go watch that 4-part series, and maybe it'll change some of y'all perspective. And also for those of y'all that you know don't see it for how the verdict was given and all of that, because you feel like he should be out and stuff. I challenge you to go watch this and then make your judgment. I challenge you to go read all of the court documents and then make your judgment. I challenge you to just blatantly read the entirety of the case, the situation, and everything before you cast doubt on these people. Because sometimes and too often we know people get thrown away and chunked to the side when they speak up for themselves. Yeah, Lil Rod was in there, came forward about how he was possibly SA'd and taken advantage of, and yes, he talks about that. I told you the friend Kirk Burrows talked about how he wasn't paid, and he also alleged that there were actual deviant things happening to him too by said person, Diddy, allegedly. It's not okay, y'all. Either y'all want to know the truth or you don't. And when you have the truth, take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. All throughout this documentary, all you hear this man, Diddy saying is, man, these folks are money hungry. They money hungry. Nobody's money hungry. You did the stuff they said. If you did the stuff that they said you did, and they have proof that you did this stuff, it ain't no, you cannot refute that. You know what I'm saying? You can't refute that. So I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't agree with it. I do not. But yeah, y'all, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit hello replay gang. Be sure to hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. I will be going live every day the month of December. Hot topics, whatever I want to talk about, I'm going live every day. I'm trying to get this channel monetized. Hopefully, I don't know if it's me praising the Lord that they ain't with, but I'm gonna continue to praise the Lord or not. I'm still gonna continue to praise the Lord, but YouTube is not monetizing me, y'all. I done got over 7,000 hours and everything, y'all. These folks still ain't monetizing me, so hopefully this can be put in the universe and I can get monetized soon. But yeah. Without further ado, I hope you all have a beautiful day. Pray for yourself, pray for one another, pray for all the people that was on the docket today, because they definitely need it. I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed evening, and definitely go like all of my videos, my posts that I post today, my nails and all of that. I really appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. Even the what I say, y'all, even the one of y'all watch, that's all I need. I just really appreciate y'all for coming, like and subscribe and coming on in. Now next Tuesday I will be reviewing next Tuesday and on. So for the next 8 weeks, starting next Tuesday, I will be reviewing ATL the scene ATL. If you have not watched that video, please go back and watch that video of me reviewing the trailer. It is a LGBTQ plus series. If you're not with it, definitely don't watch it if you don't want to, but if you want to, definitely feel free to go watch it. I really am really excited to see what the show is going to give. If you all are not familiar with some of the people on the show, one in particular is Scotty by Nature TV. If you're not subscribed to his channel, please go subscribe to his channel. The show will be airing on Stylish TV. Please go follow Stylish TV. Please go follow everybody that's on the cast if you are not familiar with this show. So yeah, on Tuesday, December 9th, I will begin reviewing that show. That is The Scene ATL, okay? All right, y'all. Without further ado, I'm up out this thing. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Love y'all. I'm out. Bye.